Oh, don't you just love a rainbow? One of my favorite sayings is life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. I just love that. I do. Welcome to our Sunday gathering. I am joined today by my wonderful friend, Chris Jacobs. He is a medium, a tutor, author of the book A Life Far from Ordinary, My Life with Spirit. Just a wonderful, wonderful man. Today, the two of us will be delivering our Sunday gathering. We are so grateful you are here today. When I think of the rain and I think of the rainbow, we can't have a rainbow without the rain, right? We're talking today about seasons that we're going into spring here where I live. I know for our friends in New Zealand and Australia, you're going into the autumn season and then into winter. But all the songs that we have today are sprinkled in with one of Earth's elements, one of those nature's elements or the seasons. So I'll tell you a little more as we go on. I was trying to be clever with them. While we're here today, I will be doing our reading for today, also our words for the week, leading you into healing and little bits of music and things in between. Our dear friend Chris will be doing our opening and closing prayers, delivering our address, and also doing our medium demonstration. I know we have some first-time Sunday gatherers here, as well as many returning Sunday gatherers. You are joined by a global community. We usually have somewhere around 150 people from all over the world that join us. It is a celebration of life. It's a celebration of the reality of the afterlife. And it's just our way of being together and to each have a reminder that we are loved. We have this divine soul within us, that we're each important and loved how we are, that our loved ones are still part of our life, and to empower us to live the best life possible. So, with that, I say a great big welcome. And I'm going to turn it over to Chris for our opening prayer.
You pleasure to be here as always. If you'd all like to join me now as we start our service this evening in prayer. Divine Spirit of life and renewal, as the earth reawakens from its winter's rest, we witness the sacred rhythm that unfolds before us, the tender shoots that break forth from the soil, the bird song that returns and fills our morning air, the gentle rain that nourishes all growing things. In this season of spring, we open our heart to the lessons of renewal that surround us all. Like the dormant seed transformed into blossom, may we too shed what no longer serves us and grow towards the light of your wisdom. Let us find hope in the returning green, courage in the persistent buds that brave the frost, and faith in the promise that everything has come to fruition in the miracle of new beginnings. As we walk among spring's unfolding leaves and beauty, may we remember to transform ourselves in your divine gift, the gift that is to all creation. With gratitude for this season of rebirth, we open ourselves to your renewing presence as we this evening come together in love, joy, and honesty. Amen.
Thank you so much, Chris. Now I have the reading I have prepared for you. The old oak tree stood stoic, its branches heavy with the weight of winter. The ground was frozen, the air biting, and the world seemed to slumber in a hushed, icy embrace. The tree, though weary, knew this stillness was temporary. It had witnessed countless winters, each followed by the vibrant promise of spring. But this winter felt particularly long, the cold seeping in into its very core. Yet deep within, an invisible warmth pulsed, a gentle, silent strength that sustained it. It was the memory of the sun. Even when hidden, it's always present and always nurturing, a feeling like a soft, unseen hand upon its bark. And spring did come, as it always does, The sun, now visible, warmed the earth, thawing the frozen ground. Tiny green shoots pushed through the decaying leaves, reaching for the light. The tree, once bare and skeletal, blossomed with fresh, vibrant leaves. It felt the warmth, now mingled with the tangible sunlight, a comforting presence that whispered, "You are not alone." Birdsong filled the air, a joyful symphony of life returning, and the tree felt a surge of renewed strength, knowing it had been held through the darkest days. But spring, too, must pass. Summer arrived, a blaze of golden sunlight and lush greenery. The tree, now filled with large leaves, provided shade and shelter for weary travelers and playful squirrels. It basked in the warmth, its leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. The invisible warmth remained a constant, loving presence. It was reminded that it was cherished and always supported. Yet even the summer must come to an end. The days grew shorter, the air crisper. Autumn painted the leaves in hues of gold, crimson, amber, a breathtaking, spectacular display of vibrant decay. The tree, though losing its beautiful green cloak, stood strong, its branches heavy with the weight of fallen leaves. It felt the gentle, invisible strength, a silent encouragement to let go, to release what no longer served it, and prepare for the quiet wisdom of winter. And then winter returned once again. The leaves fell, leaving the tree bare and seemingly lifeless. The ground froze, the air grew bitter. But the tree remained, its roots deeply embedded into the earth, drawing strength from the very ground it stood upon and from the ever present silent warmth that nurtured it. It knew that this stillness was not an end, but a necessary pause, a time for renewal, a time to feel the unseen love that surrounded it. Just as the rainbow emerges only after the storm and a butterfly emerges from the darkness of a chrysalis, so too does beauty arise from periods of stillness and change. Embrace the seasons of your life, for each one brings its own unique gifts. Remember the strength of the oak tree, enduring through every season, nurtured by the invisible sun, just as we are nurtured by invisible, unseen love. Remember the resilience of the butterfly, emerging transformed from its chrysalis. Embrace the changes in your life, for within each transformation lies potential for profound growth and beauty, and the constant comforting presence of love that transcends all seasons. Thank you for listening to my reading. So now we are going into our healing. And for those of you who are new, who don't know, we play a beautiful song, and it's our special time just to close our eyes, if you wish, and have that intent to be used for a vessel of healing wherever it is needed. It's my personal belief that our human energy can be redirected by those in the unseen world and provide healing in its many forms where it is needed. Sometimes you can imagine people healthy, well, and whole. Don't imagine them sick and in need. Or you can imagine those on the planet or those areas of the planet all brimming with life, being just whole and complete. The song I chose today is one of my favorites that my grandmother used to sing to me. It's "You Are My Sunshine." And if you maybe want to wish or imagine that beautiful sun just hitting all the inhabitants of this earth, animal, human, etc., combined, and just have that beautiful transformation of health and wellness and healing, whatever way works for you. Or you just sit there and watch the video. When the song ends, the next voice you'll hear will be my friend Chris Jacobs for our address. So this version of "You Are My Sunshine" is done by the band Music Travel Love. Let me find it for you now.
It was a lovely choice. Do you hear me?
No, it is scratchy, unfortunately.
Uh, I'll have to go into the video one rather than my microphone about what's happening to the
Okay, it's
microphone.
working right this moment. It's working.
Right. It might be your sound. I don't know. On your side. I don't.
Keep
Oh,
talking. Let's just go with
okay.
it.
Right. We'll go with it. So we'll go straight to the address. Okay. So, sorry about that, friends. Welcome and thank you for joining us this evening. I want to tell you, I wonder if this address would be a little bit about spring and about the moving and the changing of the seasons. So, you know, today as I walked around my garden, couldn't help but pause for several times along that pathway. I stopped and I watched the robin singing its heart out, really belting it out there. And I noticed how the hedges and the trees are now dotted with those tender green shoots and new leaves. And also feeling the grass yielding under my feet and, softening after the months of the frost and the awful weather. Something profound is stirring in the world, isn't it? Something that really catches your breath and makes your heart quicken. I'm grateful we can hear, we can gather in these moments of awakening. And as we witness together this sacred transition that surrounds us and encompasses us all, the miracle of spring isn't happening around us. We're part of it. Our spirits rising with each new shoot that pushes up to the sky. Just think a few weeks ago, the stillness of winter, it wrapped all around our hearts and our homes. Those shortened days when darkness fell, before tea time. Those mornings when the frost, made those beautiful, delicate little patterns on our windows. The skeleton of the trees and their bare branches wearing, you know, through and as though telling ancient stories against those steely grey skies. I've walked through my own winters. Perhaps you have too. That season when my sister was so ill and I paced the hospital corridors and I prayed and I prayed to God. That, the year when the doubt crept into my prayers like a winter fog, making everything I once clearly believed in appear distant and indistinct. The long months after losing her, when the grief settled like snow across my life, really. Yet, what I've come to understand, what the natural world teaches us with such grace, is that winter isn't abandonment, it's embrace. In winter's apparent emptiness, life gathers its resources, and in the silence, the most important conversations happen below the surface. Winter's darkness, it doesn't mean that there's no light. Our eyes just adjust to that different light. Your winter may look different from my own. It might be the relationship that you have grown cold, a dream that withered on the vine, your faith tested beyond what you thought was possible. But I promise you this, it's not an ending. It's just preparation. Just yesterday, I knelt in my garden and I pressed my palms into the soil that only weeks ago was cold, unyielding, like stone. It gives beneath my touch. And when I carefully brush away its surface layer, and there are those tiny white roots and tendrils that reach outward, the bulbs that are swollen and now breaking forth with such potential. Those exploratory shoots and seeds that we scattered last autumn, life never stopped. not once. While we hurry between our warm homes and our workplaces, we complain about the cold and the dark, while we perhaps wondered if spring would ever come again. Life continued its patient, unstoppable work. This is a great revolution that, there is no death. The realization that spring, its continuity, its creation, it's persistent, it's a miracle. The divine spark that runs through all living things never extinguishes, it simply burns with a different intensity, visible through different windows. There's a particular moment I treasure each spring, and it comes unexpectedly, perhaps while, I'm doing my lawn, my laundry, while I'm doing my lawn, and while I'm, tending to the bed, or even walking to the salt, or simply sitting with a nice cup of coffee out there enjoying that sunshine. Suddenly, I'll become aware of the light, not just the sunshine, particular quality of spring light, how it seems to illuminate the world from within rather than from without. How it catches the edges of the new leaves and turns them translucent, giving them a golden halo in a way. How it reveals the colours that winter had muted into a grey colour. There is light. There is always light. These words come not from any great spiritual context, but from understanding my own self, my own ministry. What do I love about spring? And my response is the recognition that light persists even when obscured. Where is your light found? Perhaps it's in the voice of a dear friend who just calls when needed, in the kindness of a stranger who holds the door when your arms are full, or when you just need that door opening for whatever reason. In the memory that maybe returns not to wound, but to comfort. A fragment of scripture or poetry that suddenly speaks directly to your heart or to your circumstance. Light persists in the most unexpected corners of our lives. Spring teaches us to look for it, not in the dramatic sunburst, but in the gentle illuminations that reveal the next step, the next handhold, the next breath. If you notice how unhurried spring is, despite our eagerness, despite our checking of the weather forecast or gardening calendars like myself, spring unfolds according to its own wisdom, its own plan. The oak leaves will not appear until the next moment the conditions are right. And the swallows return not early or not late, precisely when they should. I'm learning slowly and often reluctantly to trust sacred timing in my own life, to recognize that pausing growth, spiritual, emotional, or even relational, often leads to weakness rather than strength. Well, that's what happens to be a delay may actually be necessary preparation. What are you waiting for? What emergence seems to delay or be delayed in your life? Could it be that, like the perfect timing of the unfurling of the leaves, there is wisdom in the timing that you cannot yet see? So now at last, Let us come into the rejoicing, not to the shallow happiness of pleasant circumstances, but the deep, abiding joy that comes from recognizing your place in this endless continuity of life. Look around you in the coming days. What how the whole world joins in this rejoicing. The hedges burst with little flowers, new leaves, and they celebrate so eagerly in this new season. The dawn chorus, that day, that begins each day earlier and earlier, as if the birds cannot wait to contain or wait to sing or even contain their music any longer. This is not merely beauty, it's a testimony. Each flower, each leaf, each bird song proclaims the same truth. Life continues. Love is persistent and light returns. Have you ever noticed that spring never happens in isolation? The blue worlds carpet the woodland floors together. The birds call to one another across our garden. The bees move from flower to flower, connected life to life. Through these winters of, finding our challenge, having our challenges, things may be seeming to fall apart. But yet there is all light, there is hope of the new season that we now find ourselves in. Celebrate this with joy, with fervor. You be spring incarnate itself. Understand that your life may go through season to season, but there will always be light. Enjoy that. As we step back into our own little lives when we leave this place this evening, a world where spring advances a little bit more each day. May we carry with us the continuity rather than the discontinuity, persistence rather than absence, preparation rather than abandonment. May we recognize the winters of our lives not as God's withdrawal, but of God's deepest work, the strengthening of our root, the gathering of our resources, and the preparation for our emergence. May we notice the light that never truly leaves us. Sometimes brilliant as April sunshine can be, sometimes faint as the stars behind the cloud, but always, always present. May you and I enjoy, not with the fragile happiness of circumstance, but with the unshakable joy that comes from knowing we belong to this great continuity of life. That love flows through all things, in all seasons, without end. But there is light. There is always light. God bless.
Thank you so much, Chris, for those kind words. And ladies and gentlemen, I know sometimes there's a little sound distortion. We just do the best we can. Just be present. We also have the show captions button. Okay. We'll sort out the technology sometimes, but we're grateful that we are here together on Zoom, however it happens. So with that, we're going to move into our demonstration of mediumship now with Chris. And Chris has his own way of working with those in the unseen world. And I know, again, we have people here for the first time and people who have been with us. So a little refresher about how this goes. Our loved ones know exactly who is joining us on our Sunday gathering today. They know you're with us, you're watching, or you're listening. There will be some members of our community here that will get readings today. And I always call those folks in the spirit world that make themselves known to us that they're panelists from the spirit world. So if you listen in close enough, those messages, those words that come through, those bits of evidence that they're watching and witnessing us in our life, they're meant for all of us. So please, even if you're not someone who receives a reading here today, please listen in as if those words are just for you. All right. So they're working with Chris and I from the spirit world so that we all know how close our loved ones are from in the spirit world. They can easily continue their life there, and they can keep one eye on us, one foot in our human world. So when Chris first works with somebody in the spirit world, we'll hear him give a few initial bits of information about the person that has stepped forward. So you want to listen in. Is this your person? Now, your person could be a loved one, could be a family member, could be a friend, could be someone you were close to, could be somebody you worked with. Sometimes we don't quite understand how they work from their side, but really listen in. Does this description meet somebody that no longer walks this earth that was part of your life? So if you can understand the description that Chris did of the person in the spirit world, we want you to press your raise hand button. Now, this is the time for you to look on your computer or your phone or your iPad or your device. Where is that raise hand button? And go ahead and press it. Sometimes you might need to look for three dots, press those first, and then the raise hand button appears. Why is this important? You're asking me. Well, it's because sometimes there's more than one person that can understand all the information. Chris will continue to work, and ideally, you'll be able to press what now says lower hand button. So all of those of you with your raise hand button should say lower hand. And I'm on my screen, I'm watching all these virtual hands go right back down. Because we have now 150 people with us, it's important that you understand all the information before you press your raise hand button. If no one has their hands raised, we'll certainly sort that out with some more information for you. Now, if you're the only person left with your hand raised, on my side, I press a button. You'll get a flash on your screen that says host would like you to unmute. And then and only then will you see that unmute button appear. Now, you might think it's odd that you don't see everybody on the Sunday gathering, but anytime we go over 100 people, we have to use this form. All right. So it just seems to work. So you'll press your unmute button. And if you're working with our medium here today, or if you work, Chris, I'm just going to mute you for a second here. If you work with any mediums in the future, your job is simple. All we need you to do is say yes, no, or I don't know to the information that they bring. Now, all our mediums on the Sunday gathering are well seasoned and they're great people. So if something isn't a fit, just say no, that's fine. Simply means new opportunity. But ideally, the information coming from the medium is something that you're not volunteering. That's why we say you just say yes, no, or I don't know. Far too often it happens from demonstrations that people leave thinking, did the medium really have my loved one, or did I volunteer the information? So all we need from you is a yes, no, or I don't know. It is as simple as that. Now, certainly there's only going to be a handful of people that will get a reading today on our Sunday gathering, but for all of us to really listen in just how close our loved ones are, that they're active and they're witnessing parts of our life. And sometimes those messages may just be exactly what you need to hear today. So I don't think there's any confusion by what's happening in the spirit world, knowing who's going to be coming through from the spirit world side that can deliver these messages that can best serve the most amount of people. So pull those messages towards you. So we always like to play a feel-good piece of music. And while this song isn't exactly about the seasons or the elements in nature, it's a song by the band, The Four Seasons, and it's one that was at the top of the charts back in the 70s, and it just feels good. So if you want to think of your loved ones close by, imagine them right around you, because they are. All right, we'll hear our song, we'll raise the energy, and then we'll be right back with our demonstration of mediumship. Here, let me play the song for you. Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. One of my top feel-good songs right there. Welcome back, Chris.
And of course, I can't remember that. I'm sorry, you
Say again?
I said, of course, I can't remember that. I'm far too young.
Oh, right.
You didn't say now. Just give me
What
one of the novels.
we still have that sound distortion for whatever reason. I don't know if it's Zoom or what it is, but we'll do the best we can.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I've tried everything.
Sometimes it kicks in perfectly and then it gets fuzzy again. So
Okay,
us
all right.
maybe just
Uh,
speak a little louder and maybe that will help just a bit.
well, I've got the microphone right on the middle thing, so
Oh, so that doesn't help it as well. All right.
no. All right.
Do the
Okay.
best we
Well,
can.
we will. So, thank you, everyone, for being patient. I hope you all can hear me, and we'll do my best. And if you don't hear me, please ask me to repeat. Okay. So, they link with beautiful spirit world here. I know that I want to connect here with Mom, and as Mom comes through, I know that I felt like a kind of an elegant lady. There was something about her. She had such a finesse about her too. But yet I do feel that your own relationship with her may have been somewhat strained or tough, because this was I don't think she was quite a forgiving lady, and she was kind of uncompromising too. And I know that as I say that, she never really asked for forgiveness because, as far as she was concerned, there was nothing to ask for forgiveness for. Would anybody understand this so far?
Thank you. If you can understand this information, raise your hand. We have Carrie and Santu. Yes, we have several people with their hands raised.
Brilliant. Okay. This must be Mother, because I knew this was Mother. And I know that, you know, reticent to say this, but I just feel that it was sometimes there wasn't wasn't a lot of love lost between you. So would you understand that?
Not a lot
And
of love lost between you.
yes.
Okay. Yes, we still have a number of hands up.
Okay. Oh, it's gone down one. And I know with this lady too, that I do feel that she did like a little drink every now and then. I'll be kind, shall we just say.
Okay. She liked a little drink now and again. Yeah, still many hands up.
Right. Okay. Um, so, I'm getting the distinct impression with her that she was very, I did feel she was quite vain. And I do feel that she would, rather than admit you were probably her daughter, she would try and posh you off as a friend or a niece or something like that. This would have to resonate as well. Let's see, take a few down.
Taking a few hands down.
Okay. Can we go with Linda, please?
Sure. We have two Lindas. We've got Linda S and Linda G.
Okay. All right. Can they come up? Speak
Okay.
to me, please.
All right. So both Lindas, I have your Linda S. Can we hear your voice?
Hi,
Hi,
Chris.
Linda.
Hi, Sandra.
And Linda G. Are you there, Linda? Okay, we don't have Linda G's voice. So if you want to work with Linda S, there.
Yes. With you here,
Could you repeat that, Chris?
with her.
Can everything resonate with you?
Yes, although at a later point in life, she went on meds, so she couldn't drink very much.
Okay. That's all right. I'm not going to let that. Let's accept that. Can you hear me clearly, Linda?
It's a little muffled, but I can understand.
Okay. All right. So, I know that this was a lady that you'd have to understand she wasn't about forgiveness for whatever reason, for her own misdoings or whatever you thought was wrong. She was not about asking for forgiveness. Would this make sense?
Yes.
And I know that did she send you out to work?
Um, No, she didn't send me out to work, but we worked at a young age.
Right. Okay. So I've got the feeling that I just wanted this almost like a child going out to work.
No, it was common where I grew up to
Oh,
work.
right. Okay, then. All right. Sorry about that. But I know that, I kind of feel I want. Would you understand that sometimes she was just glad to get people out the house, maybe get you out the house, or
Yes,
she just wanted you out from underneath her feet,
yes,
you know, and I kind of think that sometimes she would have made up excuses if you weren't at work or something to get you out the house.
yeah.
All right.
She,
Sorry.
yeah, I didn't want to volunteer information. I'm not supposed to.
Okay. All right. I know with her too that she was. Would you think this was a sad lady? Would you understand a lot of sadness she held within her?
Yes, it was within it, didn't she didn't express it.
All right.
But
But
yes,
you would understand her feeling this sadness inside because I know that as I connect there, I know that I want to try and forget it. I want to try and put it out of my mind, but I know it's just there.
yes,
And I feel the tinge of bitterness with that as well,
yes,
you know. And sometimes I've got to say, she, she could have been quite cruel to you. Would you understand
yes,
verbally?
yes,
You know, as though I'm calling you something and and it's not nice,
yes, that did happen.
you know. And again, I just feel that with her, it was about fight, fight, fight all the time.
Yes,
So there was just no. I just didn't feel there was this peace. Um, she just didn't bring peace, really, did she?
that wasn't her strength.
You know. Okay. There was so many issues with your mom here. This anger, this sort of thing. The but I've got to say to me, I don't know if you knew this, but I just feel there was some sort of mental instability there.
Yes,
All
there
right.
was.
Okay.
Undiagnosed.
You're right. Yeah. Because she could, I'll say it in your money if you're American, she could turn on a dime.
She could what? Turn on a dime?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, she did that. It was a little scary.
It was because I just got the feeling that you wouldn't always know where you were with this lady.
Yes.
And I kind of feel you know, she didn't mind that you felt that way. I'm sorry, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. No, it's true.
Um, but and I'm asking her, why are you here? Why are you here? And she just saying, in my mind here is, well, I've learned my lessons. I've learned, you know, how I tortured myself, how she had tortured herself, rather than others. And
Yes.
she'd
Oh,
had to learn that, you know, and I know that she's not asking for so much forgiveness because we've gone beyond that. But she does feel as though I want to say that, maybe, that you now understand it was never about you, you
right.
know,
Mhm.
it was her own instability,
Yes.
her own not being able to cope with her, what's had happened in her life and, what was happening to her at those times,
Yes.
you know. But she comes here with such love for you now. She wants to bring that love. I kind of feel like I want to say, at least I gave you some peace in the end. Does that
Yes.
make sense?
Yes. Yes.
You know, at least I gave you some peace in the end. But know this, I am watching over you and I like the person you are. And I'm proud that you have the respect that she never had. Would that you understand that?
Thank you.
All right. So she just wanted to bring that that love here, and she's saying, tonight's been talking of spring. Let this be your spring, this stage in life. Let this be where you welcome in that light.
Thank you so much, Chris.
So I'll leave you with her love and just say thank you very much for working with me.
Thank you.
Oh, the light brings spirits, by the way.
Say that again.
You like to bring spirits?
The flowers behind you?
No.
I'm sorry.
All right. I'm going to
Is it
try
possible your microphone isn't working and do you know what I'm getting at?
try and put it on the computer one.
Yeah,
and
try
just
that.
the um.
I'm so sorry, Chris.
Can you hear me now?
It's the same.
It's the same. Can you hear that better?
We can hear you, yes, now.
But it's
Yes.
still the same, or is it better?
I think it's better.
Right. Okay. I've unplugged the microphone.
Okay.
So I've just gone to I'll have to lean nearer to the computer.
Lean in. Thank you, everyone. This is
All
just
right.
what it looks like sometimes.
Okay.
Back to you.
It's just the way things go. Things happen.
They do.
It's obviously where technology is concerned, it's winter. So,
That's right. And we're lucky to have it, though. We are lucky to be connected this way.
okay. So as I move on here, I know that I've got a lovely gentleman that wants to come forward here. And as I think of him, I really feel like I'm a brother. If not, I am like a brother to you. I know that he was so full of life. I felt so full of life with this man. And I kind of feel that with him, he would be, trying to be, I think he tried to be everything to all people. And, but yet forget about himself and lost himself in all of this. I just feel that I got the impression here, don't really like to be on my own with my own thoughts. I want to be with people. I need to be with people. I need to forget, because I just feel with him that his life was very different to the life he portrayed. Would that mean anything to anybody?
Thank you so much. Who understands this information, brother or like a brother to you?
Right.
All right.
We've
We
got
have
one.
Stacy. Stacy, if you could unmute yourself. Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Sandra. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
I do have someone that's like a brother. I grew up with him, and he was kind of like a chameleon.
Yeah, you would understand that sometimes I just felt that it was not all of it was an act, but you would understand it was an act,
Yes, very much.
because the pain that he made me feel inside, the emotional pain, I think he tried very hard not to show it and not for others to see it.
Exactly.
Would you understand a certain nervousness about him as well, please?
There could be, yes.
Especially if he was thrown into a situation he wasn't expecting,
Right.
here. And I know he talks to me of you being strong, you trying to be strong. And he says you always were more decisive than he was.
Yes, that's
You
true.
know, you know which way you were going when he said, I didn't even know which corner I was taking, So, and yet would you understand this bond, this unbreakable bond between you?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It was strong because he gives me this utter feeling of love for you, and I kind of feel I left you in it. Does that make sense?
It sure does. Yes.
Saying I'm sorry, I left you in it, and I'm saying what's in it, and he's not saying anything. He's not
Yeah.
sharing that bit with me, because I do think there were certain parts about this man that was very private. Would
Yes.
that be
Yes.
correct?
It's
Okay.
true.
All right. Was he a bit of a bar fly? I keep seeing that he looks like a bar.
He worked at a bar as a bouncer.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I should have got that. I'm just sitting. I can see him sitting at this stool, and
Yes.
and he's just showing me that. And I just feel. Would you understand he liked that job because
Oh, yes.
it wasn't anything great, but he liked it because in some ways he was quite innocuous. He was, people didn't really see him, really. Would you understand
Right.
that?
I do understand that, yes.
And that's what he liked, and it was dark, almost seedy in a way. So, and it was an act he could act to perfection,
Yes, yes.
you know.
Mm.
And sometimes, sorry, he's making me laugh here. And he said, "Oh," and he said that I could just punch somebody when it all built up so easily.
Yes, he could.
So and so I made believe that when he was a bouncer, he got to do it for free without any repercussion.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
And so that's what it suited him, and
Mm.
and it was very much to him. Would you understand? I want to go to May. Would you understand May with him, please?
The month of May, is that what you're saying?
Yes, but
Oh gosh. Well, his birthday's in January, so I'm not sure. I'd have to look.
okay. I didn't want birthday. I just feel as I want
Yeah.
May, where I feel May was not a great time for him.
I will have to look. I don't remember specifically.
Would you understand a female dying that he loved so much, please?
I have to think that's my, yes, yes, I do know who that is. Yes.
Okay, because I think I want the May connected to her, and I
Okay.
know, and I know that when I think of this female, it
Uh,
would you understand? It broke his heart.
yes, I do.
It broke his personality. It broke him,
Yes.
and you know, and I just feel that life couldn't continue for him. Did that
Uh,
make sense?
it does now. I didn't realize it at the time. Yeah.
Right? Um, because he made me feel robbed. He really made me feel robbed, and it altered this poor man. It really
Yeah.
did. But he said, "I'm happy. We're happy." So he's met up
Um,
with this lovely lady in the
um,
spirit. All
oh,
right,
honey.
you
Mhm.
know, and he just said, "I'm so sorry that the way things ended. You know,
Yeah.
maybe I could have been a little bit more with it. We shall we say."
Yeah, I understand that.
All right. But you know something? He says, I keep looking in. You give me a bit of a temper.
Oh, no, not me.
I
Yeah, a
just,
little bit. A little bit.
because he says, I still look in her and the temper hasn't changed. And so, so, well, he's laughing about that. So he's not giving away his secrets totally,
Yeah, I
too.
understand.
All right. I know that I'm drawn to the butterfly in the picture here. Do you see
Mm.
an awful lot of butterflies? Because he keeps doing a little parade of butterflies around me, as though I'm looking for butterflies that would
Mm.
signify spirit to him.
Yes, I understand that.
All right. Because, yeah, I'm kind of looking at the butterfly and I want to say, thank you here, thank you there. I also
Okay.
feel I want dad, dad. I keep hearing dad. So would you understand dad in the spirit world?
I do, yes.
And I want a good personality with this man. Would you understand that?
Yes, I do.
I feel like I want to say everybody's friend, you
Yes,
know,
yes.
and I just feel that this man could talk to snowflakes if he felt he felt the if he felt the need,
I,
because he comes through with such a warmth of love for you here and wrapping his arms around you. So come here, you give me a cuddle,
oh,
because I just feel that, well, that's my girl. That's my
um,
girl. You don't know. So I'm going to leave you with both their love here and just say thank you so much for working with me, and it's been an honor.
thank you so much, Chris. That really helped me today. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Okay. I know that as I move on here, God bless. I know that it feels very much like a female here. And I know with this female, she was not in the right place here. And I think I'm looking at this is not suicide, then let's just say there was no hurry to live. I just feel as though there was no way she wanted to continue living here. And that's distinctly what I'm getting. Anybody understand that, please? Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, we've got several people with their hands raised.
All right. With this, I do feel that, she wasn't old and she wasn't young at all, you know, I'm going to say probably, certainly got past her teens and was not in her 60s, but yet I want to say with an old head on young shoulders there. So I know that they really sometimes would come across like, that's kind of old fashioned, what you're saying, or an old way of looking at things, and I know that sometimes she would come across as odd to people as well. And the fact that sometimes there were these little, I don't want to say tantrums, but these little outbursts, because I do feel she could be strongly opinionated, yet terribly quiet, in other times as well. So we still got
Thank you.
everybody.
Yes, we have 7 people with their hands raised. I'm going to trust everyone can take 100% of the information.
So yeah, it's got to be 100 here. You also know that I want to say that this poor girl, no matter how much she shouted, no matter how much she tried hard, she really felt that she couldn't get her voice heard, that she was just not being heard, too. I kind of think I want to either, if she was not a nurse or something, I feel like I want somebody that was caring, so a nurse or a carer, or literally caring for somebody. Are we still all the same?
I'm going to lower everyone's hands, okay? And if you can take all the information and she was a nurse or a carer of some kind, go ahead and put your hand back up, please. Just doing that because we had 8 people with their hands raised.
Right.
And we just want to make sure we've got all the pieces, a nurse or a carer. Okay, we have Nikki and Sherry both with their hands raised.
Okay, that's brilliant.
Thank you, everybody, for listening in.
Okay, so can we get them to the speak too?
We sure can. All right, let's go over to Nikki first. Nikki, if you could press your unmute button. Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
Just want to hear
Hello,
your
do you
voice.
understand everything there, Nikki?
Yes.
You would understand that this was I want to say a mixed bag of emotions with her,
Yes.
and some days you just would not know what you were getting.
Yes.
All right. Yet for a young person, she strikes me as a little old-fashioned. Would that make sense?
Hmm. Yep, in some ways.
In some ways. I'm not saying she wasn't of a generation, but just sometimes it was kind of old-fashioned. It's just how the ways were. Would this also the fact that she was very focused on some things?
Yes.
I want to say almost to a part that I'm single-minded. And the way that she's making me go here, I feel as though I'm speaking to you and I need you to answer. That's where she is. She's not doing any more until you've answered. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
All right. Because it's just this one train of thought with her. I know that too, that sometimes, she just felt life wasn't for her. Would that make sense?
Definitely.
Because I'm getting a feeling that she would even say things like, I'm not going to make old bones.
I'm not going to make what? I'm sorry.
I'm not going to make old bones, meaning I'm not going to get to an old age.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just felt she would actually say these things too. Was she a little bit about keeping herself in good shape as well?
Not so much.
Why do I see her running everywhere?
I don't know.
I think running has got to be part of it too. Right. Now, can I just speak to the other one, Shar? Is it Shari?
Stay just where you are, Nikki. Hi, Sherry.
Hi.
Can you understand all of this, including the running?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
I know that I'm almost feel fanatical about it.
Yes.
Okay. Can I just ask you to hold on? Sandra, I think I've got a dual link here somehow. All right. So, Nikki, can you unmute yourself a bit here? I'm just
Yes.
finished with you, Nikki, here because I feel like they sound very similar, but yet the feel is different now. you know.
Mm.
So with yours here, you would understand that this beautiful young woman, you know, sometimes she could shine a light that was really wonderful, but then other times, you know, you're thinking, oh my God, I need to take a step back.
Yeah.
All right. I want to say scary at times, basically,
Yeah.
you know. And I know that I'm saying, what do you want to say? She wants to apologize to you because I know that there must have been times where she really put you in a spot or in a predicament, you know. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
And she says, I'm so sorry for that because I became too strong. I came too, you know, came on too strong with it. And I would put you in these situations that you found nearly impossible to cope with.
Yeah.
And she says, I realize how wrong I was now, and I'm so sorry for that. Will you please accept my my apologies for this? Because she was trying to, you know, trying to be this person she really wasn't at times, but she also put all her frustrations in that at the same time. So things didn't always come out the way she wanted,
Mm.
you
Yeah.
know. And
Yes.
she just says, I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me, Nick.
I appreciate that.
All right. So I'll leave you and say thank you for working with me.
Yes. Thank you, Chris.
Okay. Chari, you still there?
Yes.
Thank you. You know, do you understand with your lovely lady here that I felt like exercise was quite an important part of her life,
Running
running
was.
great, because I just felt that that was quite important. And I felt that if I don't get it in, I don't feel right. Yes, no?
Yes, when she at a certain age, when she was younger, yes.
Okay, all right. Because I just get this, and I just feel that, you know, this is a person that could get terribly frustrated, mainly at herself. Would you understand that?
Yes.
You know, and sometimes that frustration at herself could boil over onto others,
Yes.
you know. And I just keep hearing, I didn't mean to, but in some ways I did. With, you know, which sounds counter, but there you go.
Yes.
You know, I know that as she comes here, she just wants to place her hands on your face and say how beautiful you are to her and how much love she really wants to, you know, to give back to you, you know, because I know there were times, well, she talks of times when you were, you know, then you really helped her or you were strong for her.
Yes.
And especially those times when, you know, there was one particular time she says, I really couldn't cope and I
Yeah.
couldn't cope. And there was just no life anymore left. Would you understand that?
Yes.
And you got her over that mountain, she said, you know, and she knows she couldn't have done that without you. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Talk to Chris, it helps with the with the feedback.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Can I say to you here, was she did she love collecting little things?
Yes. She was a pack rat. Yeah.
Okay, I've never heard that expression. So, but I want to say I'm a magpie. So I feel I like shiny things.
Yes. Huh?
You know, I know that she would have loved jewelry, whether it is real, fake, or whatever. But if it shone to her, it was hers.
Okay. I
You-
that I'm not. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure on that, but
all right. I know that she just loved these things, you know, and it made her feel better. Would you understand that surrounding her stuff with stuff made
yeah.
her feel secure? Because I feel like I want to talk a bit about hoarder here,
Yes.
you know, and some would call it a mess, but to her it was a treasure,
Yes.
you know. And because I feel as I'm walking into this house, and I like a tidy home, so when I'm walking into hers, I feel, oh, good God.
Yes.
You know, how do I get through all of this? You know, but she was happy. She was happy. on these, or these things. And I do feel that even though time took its toll on her, I don't feel she would get rid of all the things that matter to her. Would you understand? I kind of feel like I still want my old running gear,
Yeah.
that I wouldn't let it go, no matter even though the moths had got at it.
Possibly. Yeah.
Okay. So I just feel that just wouldn't let it. It was these things that had memories for her, these things that meant something to her. I keep wanting to say, you can prize them out of my cold, dead hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so, I just want to laugh with that. But I do feel as she got older, would you understand I felt, I'm not saying total, but there was a slight mellowing there.
No, I can't take that completely.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm going to stick with that because that's what she's telling me. She said, I
Okay.
did, and I
Maybe.
did. She said, I mellowed. And so I feel like she's getting into an argument now.
Okay. Okay.
You know.
All right. I'll take it then. Yeah.
All right. But he maybe not be a lot, but she just felt that she just is, she slightly got better,
Yeah. Okay.
than what she was here. But, she comes with such a smile on her face for you today, and to say here to you, time to spring clean. Let's clean on life. Let's make those plans happen.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think you know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
So
I do.
let's make those things happen, and let's put our best foot forward and get out there. So I leave you with her love and say thank you very much for working with me.
Oh, thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thank you, Sherry. One more, Chris?
Yeah. I really feel like I want the presence of Father to come forward here. And as I see Father, I see with him in an act, he looks menacing because I can see an axe in his hand, but I don't think he's going to do me any harm. But I just feel as though, sometimes he was a man that was what we call a man about the house. I just feel I'm out there chopping wood, and I feel that this chopping wood kind of calmed him, made him feel better, and he could get rid of all any frustrations, because he was in so many ways, he was a mild man, but sometimes you could see the frustration mental in him, and he would go and do these things outside here. I do feel that he was quite a clever man here too, and I'm going to say here that I kind of want to play games, so I think he'd let you set your own trap, in leading you down the garden path. Okay, so we got somebody, yes?
Yes, we have Christine with her hand raised.
Okay,
Christine,
so
if you
can
could
just
unmute yourself. Hi, Christine.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Do you understand all of this, Christine?
Yes.
You do. And would you understand that sometimes with this man, your father here, that I do feel that are secrets? Would you understand secrets?
Yes.
He wouldn't tell you everything, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. I do feel like even though this paints not a great light about him, you would understand he was a very devoted man, though.
Yes.
Very devoted. I know that he loved his partner to the moon and the stars and back,
Absolutely.
And if I've got this right, she must be in the spirit world with him,
Yes.
because I just want to say we're holding hands. We're holding
Yes.
hands, to. I've got to be honest here. Did he drink himself to death?
Yes.
Thank you. No, I'm not saying thank you for that, but he just made me feel all kind of giddy here, and that's why I've got my head in my hands. I know that, he says, I'm sorry that I hid these things from you and that you had to find these out. And I know that I want to talk about it caused a fight with the family. Would that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And he said, I'm sorry I put you through this here. And in fact, I think some ways it still affects you. Would this be correct?
Yes.
And
Yes.
he just said, I'm so sorry. I know you tried to help him in the last year of his life, but would you understand he was beyond help?
Yes.
He just said, I appreciated it, but it was just something I didn't want anymore. Does
Yes.
that, he'd gone past it, and he
Yes.
said, but he's saying, I'm so sorry I put you through that. I see it. I see it now. And I see how this has affected you. He said, you are not me. You are your own strong woman. And you are more like your mom, you know? And so he says, please, please stop putting yourself through the feelings that you're having. Would that make sense to you?
Yeah.
All right. Know that he loves you. Know that they love you. I've got to say, Mum wants to say, I don't know, she keeps pointing at her legs, so she keeps making me believe she's got beautiful legs. But what do you understand about the legs?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Because she keeps dancing around with him, and showing that she can do it. I think I get it. Mobility, something to do with her
That's
mobility.
right.
All
That's
right.
right. That's
Okay.
right.
And I want to say, this was a strong lady.
Yes.
Determined lady,
Yes.
and she says, I knew about him before, and I knew what was happening. And I think they just tried to keep you from you all. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
And she just said it was what it was, because after your father finished work, he kind of lost himself. And it was, you know, when he finished work, and I think we're talking about retirement here or finishing of work, there was just all this mixed emotion.
Yeah.
All
I can
right.
see that.
Okay. And he didn't know how to cope with that. Well, they just wrap him, but they both want to wrap their arms around you here and tell you, you are loved. I understand that. You are your own person. You don't have to bear the weight of anybody else's sin, just yours.
Thank you.
Did he drink brandy or some sort? Because, oh my God, it's burning the back of my throat.
Yeah, he did.
Oh my, because I just realized this brandy and I can't stand it, but I've got this taste. So thank you for working with me. God bless you. Thanks very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Thank you
Oh.
very much, Christine. And thank you very much, Chris. We sorted it out in the long run with the recording. We can look at that microphone afterwards. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have some announcements for you. First of all, our loved ones, yes, if there's an apology that needs to be said, please accept it. If you want to just imagine you're having that conversation with them, they see life in a whole different perspective where they are right now. And it goes the same way if we have some undelivered communication we need to say to them, please say it. It's lovely to get a good medium reading. It absolutely is. But you don't need a medium to talk to your loved ones. They are around you. They're part of your lives. You're going to see them again. You're going to close your eyes one last time at some point, and they're going to be right there to greet you. All right. So announcements. First of all, you can find out more about Chris at chrisjacobsmedium.co.uk. He's got a wonderful book called A Life Far from Ordinary, My Life with Spirit. Chris will be back May 4th after our Sunday gathering. We're going to be doing a complete medium demonstration with him, 90-minute medium demonstration. They are very, very special. I can tell you that. You can find everything coming up at wedon'tdie.com. Just click on the store page. Our friend Scott Milligan is back on Tuesday offering his Sitting in the Power Hours. Also, our dear friends Carrie and Phil, they're our medium tutors. They are back from Australia. They will be with us on our Sunday gathering next week, which would be great. But their newest psychic and medium class begins this coming Thursday. It's called The Gentle Path to Spirit. All are invited. I tell you, you don't ever have to be a medium, ever, out in the world, but to know how your own psychic faculties work. And of course, we practice with each other within classrooms. And so it's your loved ones who come through from the other side. It really is a gentle, wonderful class, The Gentle Path to spirit. It's 4 2-hour sessions. On Friday, our friend Scott Milligan is back as we send healing and we sit in the arms of eternity. There's also a trance medium demonstration included in that, a very special time with the spirit world. And then Scott will begin his 4-session class called Trance in the Altered States. That will begin on the 14th of April. It's a different kind of medium class. There's no breakout rooms. It's just your personal journey with your soul, your loved ones, your guides. So we spend much of the time with our eyes closed, blending with that love from the unseen world. Again, everything we have coming up, including registering for next week's Sunday gathering, can be found at the store page of WeDon'tDie.com. I always like to make a shout out to the friends that have donated to make our Sunday gathering possible. Thank you so much. It gets expensive with all the Zoom and the equipment and things. We appreciate that. If you ever do wish to support our Sunday gathering, you're more than welcome to. It's not mandatory, of course, but if you go to the Sunday gathering page at WeDon'tDie.com, you can find the donation link there, as well as listening to hundreds of past Sunday gatherings and registering for the next, I think I have the next 10 registration links up there. So if you want to register ahead of time, you can. And of course, 1 hour before the Sunday gathering begins, you get a reminder from Zoom. So a few last words from me on my behalf. As you see the pretty flowers behind me, this virtual background, out on my front step, I've got some pots filled with tulips and from some daffodils as well. And of course, I was growing some hyacinths. The thing with these bulbs is they have to go through that cold winter. They do. They need time and that icy cold. And then, of course, the springtime, while there is some sun, there's a heck of a lot of rain. And if we endure that, there can be and always is these beautiful blooms, whether they're tulips or daffodils or hyacinths or whatever those bulbs that grow. And I think we human beings, like Chris said, we're very much the same, going through those different times in our life. So I want everybody to imagine now that you are a daffodil or tulip, or pick your favorite flower there. And you think back that your life really has been through some tough and trying times, dark, cold, bitter. You just have to trust that there's a sun shining somewhere, that it's going to come back around and you're going to bloom. So instead of thinking, as humans do, what's coming up, what we haven't done, worrying about the future, it's my belief that if we can take a little time to celebrate the growth and the journey that we've been on, those difficulties that we've overcome, those celebrations that we've had, those things that we've done in our life that we're proud of, even those moments that you were there as a shoulder for somebody to lean on, all of those things are growth for your soul. But also, if you can look and say, hey, I am one of a kind. This life made me with who I am today. I wouldn't be anybody else but me, even though life is tough. But let those accomplishments and that journey be your fuel for the future. Whatever it is you wish for the future, you've got what it takes. You've been through tough times before, and you are a divine soul. So use things like gratitude, be with other like-minded human beings, try to speak positively, use that power of your imagination. I know that little voice always wants to creep in with negative things, but we can say, hey, not for right now. Instead, I'm going to think of what I'm grateful for. All of those things are really food for your soul and can really help you bloom even further. All right. So that's your 2 cents with Sandra thoughts for the week. I think that's it for me. Other than I'm going to turn it over to our dear friend Chris for our closing prayer. And then we've got a kind of creative song as a closing song for today. So over to you, Chris.
Before we do the ending prayer, can I just share some things? Are we okay with that, Sandra? Brilliant. So let me just do that here. Oh, right. It never works the way you want it to work, does it?
Ever. But, hey, it's fun. Makes us know that you're human too. We don't have to be perfect.
Well, there was a bit, let me just see how it's done it. We'll go here. Okay. No, that's not the one either. Okay. So,
You have
all
pictures
right.
for us?
It was something a little bit. Darren tried to show me because I know they're both away in the Gran Canaria at the moment, and he tried to show me because it is your birthday on Tuesday, and I made a little video, and I can't seem to get it up to share it here. So I'm terribly sorry about that, but I know I want to say a very happy birthday to you on Tuesday. You're much loved by the Sunday Gathering and the We Don't Die Radio family, and everything you do is very appreciated, especially by me. So have a wonderful, wonderful day with Mum and maybe your cousin if he's coming over as well. And thank you for being a very dear friend.
Oh,
And
thank you so
enjoy
much.
it.
Oh, and thank you to everybody who's thinking of me. Yes, on Tuesday, I turned the big 59 and I'm excited. So I'm grateful for everybody behind the scenes and all those wonderful thoughts. It's going to be a quiet day. Be having lunch with my auntie and dinner with my mom and being out here playing Mother Nature with all the squirrels and the birds and the daffodils and things. So no place I'd rather be. No place like home. I've heard that
Brilliant.
before. Back to the closing prayer for you, and thank you, Chris.
And 59 is a new 29, isn't it?
That's right.
All right. So thank you, everybody. So if you would like to join me as we bring this evening to a close and, this celebrate what we've shared this evening. Divine Spirit, may the light of your wisdom illuminate our path and the strength of eternal love sustain our spirit. This in sacred moment and this sacred space, we are truly grateful for. May that light shine through our whole of our day and our week and the months to come. May we share that with all those who are closest and nearest to us, and even those who are not. Let them see that what lights from within can warm every facet of our lives. So we give thanks once again, Great Spirit, for the love and the joy of the seasons and the seasons of our lives. For these are what inspire us, what help us grow, and what move us forward. Amen.
Thank you so much, Chris, and thank you for being with us today. As we leave in song, one of my favorite songs is Bob Marley's Three Little Birds, but Maroon 5 did a very unique rendition of it with some of the elementals. So it kind of fits in with our theme, and it's just kind of a cool video. So I'm going to play that for you now. Enjoy, and then I'll say goodbye at the end. But here we go. Great words. Every little thing is going to be all right. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry. Don't worry. For those wondering, at 1 a.m. my time and at 10 p.m. Pacific time, there's a radio station called Coast Coast AM. So it's something like 4 million nightly listeners on your favorite AM channel. And I am on once a month for 2 minutes, sharing some bit of inspiration with the world. So if you're up late, you can listen in or just go to coasttocoastam.com to find your local radio station. With that, everybody, thank you for the birthday greetings. Thank you for being here. Thank you to our loved ones who are with us on the other side. They're not too far. They're right here with us, just vibrating at a little different frequency than us, but they can hear you. They love you. Thank you again to Chris. Thank you, everyone. We will see you next week, if not sooner. WeDon'tDie.com. You can find it all. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye. Bye.